down.
17. Boy, dang. Riverside has only had 5 first downs.
And so the pages have turned. The penalties,
not
where they most matter.
We're getting there. We're getting there here, Dan. Can you feel it here in this Riverside air? It's blowing about 15 miles per hour from west to east. And it's been an interesting ball game here, Dan, a seesaw affair, if you will, as Villarreal will send this one sailing. A line drive kick. Davis will let it hop inside the Riverside 15, and down it goes at the 13. So the Tigers are 87 yards from a place they've never been before, the end zone. They trail by 4.
That's right. Nicholas King has struggled tonight. Only
is that
18 of 8 of 18.
That's being generous to say that he has struggled. 8 of 18. King did have that last completion, make it 9 of 19 for only 37 yards.
Yeah, that's tough right there.
Tigers will operate from their own 15-yard line. Give a couple free yards out to Nicholas King and company. Only 6 carries today by Denzel Foster. Make it 18 before the Mount Sacs Amaris Tolbert. Handoff goes to Foster, making something out of nothing. It should have been a loss of 5, but ends up going right back to the line of scrimmage, 2nd and 10.
Boy, it seems like the Mounties have the run game in check, and they're just going to dare Nicholas King to beat him with his arm tonight.
A nice move made for the Tigers against one of the best defensive line, Eli Sanoa Alasui, who leads their defensive line with 22 tackles and 3.5 sacks. He's the bounce back from Oregon State, place where Treshawn Brown's going to go next year. Shotgun snap, King looking right. All sorts of times, still looking. Eludes out of 1 sack. That's Kral who couldn't get him. Wings it to the sideline. It's caught. No, but out of bounds. Incomplete. Jermel Walker could not tap the feet. 3rd and 10 from their own 15. And the Tigers, boy, are they continuing to face 3rd downs and long against that Mount Sac stalwart pass rushing unit.
Right there, all the routes were intermediate, nothing over the top. I wonder how much of that is not having a lot of trust in Nicholas King's ability to throw that deep ball. I mean, that would have been the perfect situation to get something going deep. Instead, a play that took so long for practically nothing.
3rd down and 10, crowd on its feet. 8:57 to go in the 3rd. Play action, back to throw, and it's dropped. Going to Isaac Whitney again. Boy. Another incomplete pass. Now 1 catch on 8 targets for the Central Oklahoma University product. The sophomore has flat out been an aberration here in the 3rd.
Boy, I mean, on a week where he gets offered from USC to have a type of performance like he's having is uncalled for. Only 1 yard on that 1 catch that you talk about, Nick.
8:53 to go. Good call there, Dan, because really Isaac Whitney is a guy that is getting really the only attention for the Tigers in the receiving corps. No other receiver is getting a Division I offer. Zamora with an end-over-end kick, and Vons will retreat to his own 35, and a solid open field tackle made for the Tigers, and that will lead 8:44 to go to another solid field position here for the Mount Sac Mounties. Tackle made by Dahan Wise, the freshman out of Rancho Verde.
Boy, it would be interesting to see if the Mounties could amount to something and get a drive here that amounts to a score here.
Again, want to thank you all for joining us on Spreaker.com and Livestream.com. Extreme Sports Prod is proud to bring you this video with the pleasant instant replay of today's game. Again, just want to thank all the fine listeners who join us for the whole season. Christopher Gilchrist, the receiver on the end around, across the numbers, out to around the 36-yard line, back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a gain of 1. Christopher Gilchrist, interesting story. A bounce back from Florida Atlantic, is not quite the receiver that he was as a freshman. 4 touchdowns last year and only 3 this season. He has been blanketed by a number of these defensive guys, and that's been the difference, Whitney included, where when you're the number 1 guy, you got to believe that you're getting the number 1 looks as the pass is incomplete going to Ryan Simpson. Only 2 catches by him today.
Boy, a lot of extracurricular activity going on that field. You could sense the grudge that they hold against each other. A lot of animosity between these two teams.
Talk about big hits as well. That is...
we haven't seen a game like this where we've got at least 5 tallied big hits tonight.
This has been such a fun game to be a part of, these big hits, the big plays, and this will probably come down to the final few minutes as We're in for a treat here at Wheelock Stadium. The lights are on, and we're about ready to look at some stalwart night action. A third down pass going to Christopher Gilchrist, and the catch is made. Move the chains, a gain of 11. And Justin Allo, against the teeth of that Tigers defense, able to wing it in there for the first down.
Great pass right there by Justin Allo. A pass to the outside, to the far side of the field for a first down. Perfectly thrown, perfectly placed. First down.
Justin Allo out of Carson. The sophomore has really picked apart the Tigers outside of the 2 turnovers. Handoff on the delay to Omaris Tolbert.
Wow.
And this will be probably a holding penalty against the Mounties offensively. 7:50 to go on a stop clock. Mounties lead 17-13.
A lot of frustration
Going
going on.
Flag. That
right
should
there.
be against Mount SAC as well.
Well, I think it's going to be on RCC
Really?
right there. Yeah.
They are signaling Mount SAC's direction.
Nico Taylor right there getting involved with a little bit of pushing and shoving well after the whistle there.
We'll check the penalty. Dan Godino and Nick Rice here live from Wheelock Stadium at Riverside, California, home of the Tigers. Nico Taylor. You're right. You're right, Dan. I didn't see that one. I thought that was about
a double personal foul.
Double. That'll be 30 yards against the Tigers. This happened
Jeez.
against Fullerton College 2 weeks ago. I asked Coach Kraft about the penalty situation, and he mentioned, well, that's one of those type of deals, but really it's more than that. I thought Coach Kraft really did not take this penalty situation seriously. He is the most mistake-prone coach with his football team in the state of California.
Boy.
15 penalties per game.
30 yards on just boneheaded decisions.
Did you
right
really
here.
think midway through the third that the Tigers would tally up more penalty yards than offensive yards?
No. I mean, yeah, sure, they're the type of team that's constantly in penalty trouble, but for them to have more yards than they do offensive yards, that's uncalled for.
No, it's disappointing. That's my problem with it. And now the Mounties set up shop in the red zone. From the 19, Allo back to throw. Fires on a screen, caught by a man who we haven't really talked of a whole lot tonight. That's Tradante Hill with the grab. Only his second today. Now a 2nd and 8. And Dan, really, the Tigers off of these penalties are just put in some real horrible situations. A touchdown would make it a 2-possession deficit for the Tigers.
Would like to see a big stand from the defensive line right there in that last play. Jeremiah Mitchell reading that screenplay.
2 interceptions for the Tigers in the first half. Shotgun snap, Allo looking left. Chucks it to the near side. Caught by Gilchrist inside the 10 and hurdles his way down to around the 6. That'll be a first down pickup there for the Mounties. 1st and goal from inside the 10. And the Mounties are just picking apart. They are inching and crawling their way to that end zone.
And you could blame the RCC mental mistakes for that one. I mean,
really,
all of a sudden, the Mounties have momentum, and all because of 2 boneheaded plays.
Brandon Wilson, the fullback, checks into the ball game. That'll be the 4th different running back that we've seen from Mount SAC today. 1st and goal from the 7. Tigers tied to the line. Shotgun snap. Allo will keep inside the 5. Looking for the chalk. Did he get there? No, he'll be about a yard short of the marker. That'll be a 6-yard pickup. 2nd and goal.
Boy, what a difficult situation for the RCC Tigers defense. Right now, the big boy package is being sent in. Let's see if that's enough to hold them away from the end zone.
That's right. Nico Taylor, Nolan Esamora, and Jeremiah Mitchell, they check into the game as the defensive line. A late man onto the field. Thomas Brown coming on at the final moment. Play clock down to 8. Mounties lead 17-13. The jumbo package in. Omaris Tolbert dots the I. 3 tight ends. 1 in motion. Hand off to Tolbert to the 5-4-3. Taylor's got him, and down he goes in the backfield. That'll be a loss of 1. 3rd and goal. This has been a stalwart red zone defense here, Dan, and they make the play again. 1 more opportunity, though. 3rd and goal from the 2.
Walk away with just 3 points given, and you could call that success right now. Ball on the 2-yard line.
And into the game for the Mounties, coming on late.
Crucial possession here, Nick.
Marcellus Hunter. Yes, it definitely is, but the play clock is already down to 7. Down to 6.
moving slow.
Omaris Tolbert into the game as the pistol back, and Mount SAC, I believe, will call time. And indeed, it's Riverside that does call it. This is a crucial play here, Dan, and a real momentum shifter.
Boy.
If Mount SAC were to score a touchdown, it puts the pressure on a beleaguered Riverside offense. Meanwhile, if you make them settle for a field goal, you still are in this one.
Definitely, and I question that timeout right there with the play clock being wind down to 5 seconds. I mean, they could have possibly have taken that delay of gain, and I'm talking about the Mounties right there. And so, questionable, but Tom Kraft, he's a veteran, and he understands the situation right now. He needs to get everybody on the same page with each other, and hey, we'll see if it worked out on his behalf.
27-game winning streak for the Riverside City College Tigers. It's been a fast-moving ball game already halfway through the third. 5:30 to go. Mounties lead 17-13 and set up shop with the third down and goal from the 1.5 here on the left hash mark. And Justin Allo, who's thrown a couple touchdowns today, also a few interceptions, has been the beneficiary of potentially the best defensive performance against Riverside this year. They have held the Tigers to under 80 yards of offense.
They're going no sound. It looks like they're going to snap the ball quick.
As they hurry back to the line of scrimmage, the pistol back is Brandon Wilson, the fullback. Third and goal, a huge play for both teams. Goal line sets in. Allo will keep himself, hurdles to the pylon, he's in. Touchdown, Mounties. Another long drive aided via penalties, and with 5:25 to go, Mount SAC pulls ahead 23-13 with the extra point pending.
The Mountie side, fan side, is on their feet right here. The RCC side is library quiet, like you like to say, Nick.
And my deal with the RCC Tigers is you really can't blame that defense.
No, you can't.
Of course, the penalties are something that you really cannot have in junior college, but the difference is Mount SAC, 2 trips in the red zone, 14 points. Tigers, 2 trips in the red zone, 6 points, as they've had to settle for a couple field goals. That's really been the difference. What could be a 24-21 ball game, but instead 24-13.
We've discussed this plenty of times, Nick, you and I, on air and off the air. Will the mental mistakes eventually catch up? Will time run out on the RCC Tigers? Will they be able to adjust and make the necessary moves to become a championship team? And, well, with this, a deficit here, down 11, it looks like, time has caught up.
Well, it's not quite over yet, but with
No,
5:25 to go, it'd really be nice if you're Tom Kraft and company for a guy that has been an offensive innovator. He was the offensive coordinator at San Diego State, set offensive records there for the Aztecs, but was fired due to a couple of inconsistency. That was his knock during his 4-year stint with San Diego State. He has not really had the offensive production that we expected there in the ball game. Tremel Davis really trying to make something out of nothing. He returns to the 15-yard line. 24-13 with 5:17 to go here in the third quarter.
Nicholas King has been kept in check tonight. Bottom line is he needs to get going in the air. Something needs to click right now.
Yeah, King averaging 250 yards passing per game has been held to 37. Wow. Here in tonight's ball game. That's been the difference. Junior Pome into the game as the extra tight end. We haven't seen a whole lot of Matthew Moore, and an interesting story by him. He used to play quarterback at Chaparral and was well on his way to San Diego State, but ended up becoming a tight end here for the Tigers. 1st and 10, handoff on the delay, goes to Foster, and off a cloud of dust reaches around the 20-yard line. And has the play calling really been the bad part of this Tigers team, or execution?
I would say it's a little bit of both. Yeah. The execution part. A lot of drop passes. Nick King hasn't been the most accurate. The coaching, well, play calling in certain situations has been questionable.
Handoff goes to Foster, and he trips over his own man across the 20 out to the 22. And the good part about that run is that it makes it third down and manageable now that Burton, Stallone, and Walker check into the game.
It looks like it will be a passing situation, it seems like, with what they're lining up with.
Burton and Stallone line up in the slot. Four wide set. Foster flanks the quarterback. Handoff on delay to Foster. Zigzags 25, and he reaches across the first down. Move the chains. Only the 6th first down today for RCC. That'll be a pickup of 4. Move the chains.
3 straight plays, 3 straight runs, a first down. It looks like the game plan is to keep the ball on the ground.
Joshua Savage, the sophomore, checks into the game. A 4 wide set. Back to throw. King looking right. Wings it long. Has a man. That's Walker. Incomplete. Over the head of the intended freshman. And that'll be just yet another deep ball that falls to the turf, Dan.
Just the 5th game that Nick King is playing in, and we've seen it constantly. The deep ball being overthrown